Good afternoon, Year 3. So lovely to be with you again today. We are going to complete spelling lesson 8 today. So I hope you have your whiteboards and your pens and erasers with you ready to get started. Okay, as you can see, our learning objective for today is to recognise and spell common suffixes and how they influence word meanings. So we're doing ly like we did last week, and some of us are going to be doing less as well, the suffix less. So to be successful, we need to be able to read and understand the words, first of all. Then we need to be able to read and spell the words, and finally we need to know the meaning of the suffixes and how they change the meaning of a word. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, everybody, so to start with today, we're going to be doing some revision, and we're going to be revising test-style questions today, like when you take your computer tests at the end of the year. Okay, so what I want you to do on your whiteboards with a pen, I want you to write 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do 4 questions, so you're going to write 4 answers. Okay, so now you've done that. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's start with the first question. Okay, which of these words, and this is the first question, which of these words rhyme with thrown? So one of those words rhyme with thrown. You need to write it on your whiteboard. Read them out loud if you want to. Okay, moving on to number 2. Which of these words means sad? Okay, which of these words means sad? Here are the 4 words. You need to choose one and write it on your whiteboard for question 2. Again, you might want to read the words out loud to help you. Okay, moving on to question 3. This is a missing word, so you're just going to write the missing word that fits best into this sentence. I will read the sentence for you. So question 3. To help save the rainforest, we must paper. So what word goes best in here? I'll read it again. To help save the rainforest, we must what? Paper. Okay, it has been one of your spelling words and it's got a prefix as well. Okay, moving on to question 4. This is your last one, question 4. Which word is the adverb? So one of these words is an adverb. These are your choices. Which one is an adverb? Write it for question 4. Okay, guys, you should have 4 answers on your whiteboards now. So what I want you to do is I want you to swap your whiteboard with somebody else sitting on the carpet. So your partner, unless you're in a 3, then swap with the 3. So you're going to give your whiteboard to the person next to you and they're going to give you their whiteboard. And we're going to peer assess the answers. So a peer assessment is when one of your peers, your friends, mark your work for you, and together you get to decide if the answers are right. Okay, so there's 4 answers. This is what you have on your, what you should have. So answer number 1 is moan. Moan rhymes with thrown. Okay, answer number 2 is unhappy. So unhappy is another word for sad. Answer number 3, recycle. To help save the rainforest, we must recycle paper. Also in there, we could have used the word reuse. So if you have reuse, that will also be okay. And then number 4 here, the adverb here is quietly. And we can usually tell an adverb from ly on the end. It describes a verb. Okay, so if your partner got all 4 of those questions right, you can give them 1 tick on the end of your whiteboard. That means that is 1 dojo point for them. Okay, now swap back and take your own whiteboards back. Okay, so you should have your own whiteboards back now and just having a look at your spelling words on the top there. Okay, so if you're group A, your spelling words are, and I'm going to read them, so listen if there's one you can't read. Kindly, lovely, weakly, nearly, clearly, really, deadly, madly, gladly, nicely. Okay, group B, yours are ageless, topless, lifeless, nameless, mindless, luckless, helpless, restless, selfless, and spotless. Okay, group C, blameless, bottomless, doubtless, heartless. Look how doubtless is spelt there, it's got silent B. Heartless, thankless, meaningless, priceless, powerless, wireless, and purposeless. Okay, so now I've read those words for you, might give you a better idea. So I just want you to tell your partner what a suffix is. Tell your partner, I'm going to give you just a couple of seconds. Tell your partner what you think a suffix is. Okay, I'm sure you gave lots of good ideas. A suffix is letters at the end of a word that changes the word's meaning. So, for example, the word topless, here is your root word, and your suffix is letters at the end of a word that change the meaning of the word. Okay, I'm sure you've got a pretty good idea now from looking at the words, but I just want you to spend a minute telling your partner what the suffix less means. So the ones that B and C are working on today, the suffix less, what does it mean? Okay, I hope you've got some good ideas that you've told your partner. So the suffix less means without, without. So if you are nameless, then you are without a name. If you are meaningless or something is meaningless, that means it is without meaning. And if it is spotless, then it means there are no spots, which generally is referring to something that's very tidy. So you might say our classroom was spotless after we cleaned it this morning. Okay, so the suffix less means without. It's a good way to make a sentence more interesting. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to let you have a go at applying what we've learned today. I want you to write a sentence in another way. So you're going to keep the meaning of the sentence, but change the words. And you're going to use the suffix less or ly on the end. Okay, and I've done an example here. So this is the original sentence. It says, there was no power at the factory today. So something is without power. The new sentence would be, the factory was powerless. So it means without power. The factory was powerless. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 minutes. Each group has their own question that they must answer. Group A, your question let's just put this down here. Your sentence that you need to change is, I had a nice time at the party. So how can you change that using an ly suffix? What word could you maybe use instead of nice? Group B, the Iron Man lay still on the floor. So which one of these words could you use to change that sentence? And finally, Group C, the pit they dug for the Iron Man seemed to go very deep. Okay, I'm going to set you 3 minutes. All of the words that you need to use are here at the bottom. So you can choose, it's going to be one of these words from the bottom here. Okay, and also, if you are finished, let's pause. If you are finished, do a different sentence. If you're in Group B, you can do Group C sentence. If you're in Group A, do Group B sentence. Group C, see if you can do all 3 sentences, or even come up with a different word with the suffix to change it. Okay, you've got 3 minutes on the clock. So you need to write the whole sentence, not just the word you're going to use. You need to write the whole sentence, like I have done here. Okay, so you've had more than a minute now. Make sure, again, like I said, you're writing the whole sentence. Say the sentence out loud. Make sure that it makes sense. Only one of those words is going to make sense in your sentence, okay? Don't forget, you can always make it more interesting by adding an adjective or a powerful verb. Okay, 30 seconds left. Just check your spellings as well. Make sure you're checking the spellings. Fabulous job, everybody. Okay, so I'm just going to give you an example of what the sentences could be. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. Okay, so this is just an idea of a sentence that you could use, but make sure you've used the right word and that your sentence makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to change this one to, I had a lovely time at, and I'm going to add a bit more detail. I'm going to say what type of party it was. At the, I'm going to call it jolly jumping party. Okay, that's one way to, so the word that we've used in there is lovely. So instead of nice, we've said lovely. Okay, for group B, the Iron Man lay still on the floor. So to make that a more powerful sentence, I would change it to the Iron Man lay lifeless. Okay, so we've not removed any letters from here. Lay lifeless on the, I'm going to say, hard floor. So I've added an adjective in there as well. Okay, and group C, the pit they dug for the Iron Man seemed to go very deep. So instead of very deep, I'm going to use the word bottomless. So although it's not actually bottomless because we've got seamed in here, so we're saying that it seemed bottomless. The pit they dug for the Iron Man. Oh, spelling mistake. That's why we need to make sure we're always checking. Seemed bottomless. I'm going to add a coordinating clause to this and say seemed bottomless and black. Make it sound really scary. Okay, those are just some ideas. So we used the word bottomless instead of seemed to go very deep. We used lifeless instead of laying still, and we used lovely instead of nice to make those sentences more interesting. Okay guys, make sure you look at each of your spelling words, especially the ones you've used today. Check that you're spelling them properly. If you can spell the root word, we're just adding the suffix to the end. No letters are missing. So check your root words and your suffix to make sure they make sense. Okay?